So hello fellow coin collectors, how you going? This is Glenn, back with another video, and today we're going to review the 1920 penny. And this is actually the most complex of Australia's pennies because of the number of varieties that you can actually get. And I'm not including errors, I'm just talking about two things. So we have some varieties that actually have dots either on top or bottom of these scrolls, so the top and bottom scroll. And the other variety is we have an Indian and a London obverse. So if we go to the N, you can see that the N, let's zoom in. Okay, you can see that the N points up to identical. This is the London, not the London, this is the Indian variety. So if it N points up to identical, that's the Indian variety. And that is a common obverse for these coins. And on this 1922 penny, so 1922, we have the N pointing in between identical. And that's actually a rare type of obverse for a 1920 penny. So first of all, if you have a 1920 penny with this type of obverse, it's rare. It doesn't matter if it has dots or anything, it's just rare anyway. And there are actually 3 varieties. So you can get all of them either have no dot, they have dot above bottom scroll or dot above, below bottom scroll. There are no London obverses with dots up here. So if you actually find one with dots up here, it's actually very rare. So it'd actually be worth a lot of money. And these coins with the London obverse are actually very expensive. I wouldn't expect to buy one for less than $100. So that is how rare they actually are. And the Renix catalog doesn't actually include this type of variety. It just includes the dot variety. So just keep out for any obverses with the N pointing in between the denticles. So then we have so that though those are free with 3 types of varieties. And now we have the 4th to 8th type of variety, and that is the one with the Indian obverse with the N pointing to the denticle. And these ones have a variety of dot combinations. So you can have no dot, you can have dot below bottom scroll, dot above bottom scroll, a dot above top scroll, so just up there, and we can have a double dot. So the double dot will have a dot up here and also a dot down below the bottom scroll. So that is actually the rarest, the double dot variety. And the rarest of the lot is actually the dot above the top scroll. So what would be the values of any of these coins with the dots? So if you have a no dot variety, then it's actually very common. So no dot variety with the Indian obverse is actually common. If you get a dot below bottom scroll, so do we have one here? I believe I do. This one's actually an error coin as well, but you can see the flame floor there, but we're not worried about that at the moment. So if you turn it around, this one's actually very worn, so it's actually a lot harder to see. So it's actually hard to show in here, but you can just make out the dot, which is just there. So in the center of that, just there. If I can zoom in, So you might be able to see the actual dot better there. Oh, it's just so hard when the actual dot is actually very damaged, as well as the light. So you can actually see the dot. It's the circle part that is actually right in front. So just right at the tip of that shadow. So I'm not too sure if you can actually pick it up. Move this coin around. So it's actually a dot below the bottom scroll. It's actually very common. And I know the coin books, they actually have these as, starting at $35. But because this coin is actually very common, I would say the values are probably the same as the one with no dot. So probably about $6. I would say it's a mistake in the catalogue, in the pricing. And then we have the no variety, no dot. Okay. So these two are actually very common. Okay. The dot above the bottom scroll. So we're talking about up here. That is actually a scarce coin. And it actually starts at about probably about $35. So if you've got one above the bottom scroll, and it goes higher. So I talk about coins pretty much in this condition, so probably in fine condition. So that's basically the base value. If you want a coin that actually is in very fine grade, talking about $200 to $300. If you want one in uncirculated, probably talking about at least $7,000 to $10,000 in those ones. For these ones that are actually common, in a fine value, you're probably talking about $7 to $8. So these coins, if you're talking about very fine, probably about 20 to 30. If you want uncirculated, you're probably talking about $1,000 for just these coins that I have here. But as you can see, these two actually are errors. So this one has, error here, error there, and not that one. God, I picked up the 1922. This one has, it has actually a flame floor going through there. And this one actually has a flame floor there, so that's pretty much. And I was using the wrong coin there, but I won't re-record it. We'll just continue on. So we talked about the no dot and the dot below bottom scroll, dot above bottom scroll. So how about the dot above the top scroll? That's actually the most expensive of the lot. So if you have a dot that is actually up there. And so the dot above the top scroll, you're probably looking at probably $150 in very good grade. So fine grade, you're probably talking about $200 to $300. And then we have the second rarest, and that is the double dot. So the dot that is above the top scroll and below the bottom scroll. So that coin you're probably looking at in very good grade, probably $20 to $30. In fine grade, probably at least $100. In uncirculated grade, you're probably talking at least $5,000 to $6,000. So that is actually what the values are. I'll put a link to a good website that actually has information on the varieties, and you can research it yourself. But those are what you should be looking for. So there are 8 varieties, and the chances that you'll come across all of them in a lot is probably very remote. And then we have the error coins. So there's actually quite a lot of errors. So you got like blobs, die cracks. I'm not actually going to go through them. It's probably at least 70 different types of error coins have actually been described. So a lot of them are die cracks. So we need to look at die cracks that actually go through the letterings, all the letterings. Are there any double? No, there's no doubling that's actually been reported. There's a lot of spurs. There's spurs on the first leg of the N. So I don't have this one in 1920. I have it in 1919. You can check out that video. Dots between the N and Y in penny. So let's have a look to see if these two actually have any varieties. So the mintage of this coin is actually quite high. It's 9,041,000, and you can see that, oh no, that's actually damage on the A, so I'll talk about that damage on the A. This coin's very worn, so as you can see the rim is worn, but there is like a flame floor, so there and going toward the C, so that's actually one type of error. Lamination floor, flame floor, whichever one you want to call it. That wearing there is just pretty much post-mint damage because the actual wear on the coin. And if we have a look on the other side, you can see there's a little bit of a flame problem there as well. But apart from that, I don't see any die cracks on this coin. That actually looks like it might be post. No, it looks like another flame problem because it goes under the F. So, and then we look at this coin. So if there's any problem, looking at that, I thought that might have been a lamination flaw, but it might be just a post-mint scratch. So, any problems? I don't see any die cracks or anything like that. So this year actually has quite a lot of problems with the coins that they actually minted. But no, that C is fine. So really, you'll be looking for a lot of variation in the 1920 penny. Just remember, so the first thing you need to know is that any of them with the London obverse are rare, and with the Indian obverse you're looking for the ones with the dot up the top and then the bottom, one with the dot just up the top and one with the dots up to the top of the bottom scroll. If you find any with no dot or the dot below bottom scroll, they're actually very common, so they're actually worth only a few dollars. So yeah, that is what you need to be looking for in the 1920 penny. As I said, very complex. That's why I'm going to leave the link below so you can have a look. And yeah, just keep hunting. Thank you very much for watching my video. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and also check out the links below. Thank you, and bye bye.